And now a regular feature here on GC 360, a preview of what's in the Colonnade this week. We're joined by Assistant News Editor Mark Watkins. Thank you for joining us today, Mark.
Yeah, thanks so much. Pleasure to be here.
So can you tell us what's in store this week for the Colonnade?
Yeah, we have a couple of different stories actually. We have one on the diversity, about the International Club and kind of how they're moving forward with suicide last week. And we have one story concerning the new tables at the Library and Technology Center, and we also have a story written by Connor Johnson on the new provost search that's coming up. And it's really interesting actually, since we just finished our presidential search, and he's just kind of coming to campus. You know, he's going through his 100 days, and most people don't know what the actual provost does. You know, we have this idea of the president, but the president really is only in charge of off-campus events. You know, he goes to Washington, he goes to New York, he goes to Atlanta, and he talks to politicians, he talks to potential investors, I suppose, in the university, and he kind of garners money and builds a relationship off-campus. But the provost is really all about on-campus relationships, and with students, with faculty, with inter-faculty and inter-student relationships. So to have these two really big positions, I mean, these are the two biggest positions in the university.
Right.
To be having new people coming in is a huge change, and it can really change the direction of the university. You know, the president completely affects, you know, what kind of the big vision is for Georgia College, and the provost is the one that kind of enacts it and kind of pushes it forward while the president's off doing things. So to be having these two searches kind of back to back is interesting and definitely notable for the university, since it is going to be a lot of changes coming up, and possibly the next couple of years, and and possibly in the time that we're actually going to be here. But it will definitely affect us in a great way. So we're gonna definitely stay on top of that, and we'll keep reporting on it. But it really was it's just a short piece, just telling you know what the actual search is, how it looks, what goes into it, and just a recap of what's going on. But we'll definitely be following it, and as more things develop, and it's potentially supposed to be wrapped up around December, but anyone that we talked to just said, you know, it's really early. We don't really know. You never really know with these types of stories. Excuse me, with these types of stories, but it's interesting. It's going to be it's a good article. It's really good. We're proud of Connor. So
you're just going to continue to follow the story and just kind of give word out to campus about what's going on?
Yeah, we're definitely going to try to. Hopefully we'll be able to run something that kind of exposes like what the big issue is with the president, and potentially what Steve Dorman wants, the direction Steve Dorman wants to take for the university. And you know, as candidates come, we may be able to sit down and interview them, and you know, see what they have in mind for Georgia College and different things like that. And of course, you know, with Steve Dorman, we had the 100 days, the whole committee that's dedicated just to helping him out and kind of get to know campus. So of course there's interest in, you know, are we going to do the same thing for the provost? What is it going to look like for when he comes to campus, or she? It could certainly be a she. So it's going to be something that we just want to keep an eye on. Definitely something that we want to follow up on, and you know, kind of see how it develops for the campus wide.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
Are there any other stories this week?
This week, yeah, mostly just you know, campus stuff that's going on. Nothing too groundbreaking. You know, of course we had a bunch of new stuff coming to the library center, or excuse me, the library over the summer. We had a new director who is really taking the place in a great direction. I talked to him over the summer when he came, and we did a short interview with him, just a Q&A. And he talked to me a lot. He wants to set up a student library council, which is all dedicated to giving the students literally what they want by the students. So that's interesting, and I think he has some really great ideas, and we're kind of looking forward to finding out more. But it's all just been planning stages. You know, he's just getting here. He's getting to know everyone. He hasn't really been able to push himself or put anything into action just yet. But that definitely is a big story for us, and we do have the diversity story, which talks about the International Club. It touches briefly on how they dealt with you know, Choruk's suicide last week, but it also looks towards their coming year and the events that they have planned and the things they're going to be doing, which is great. You know, the International Club puts on a lot of stuff during the year, and a lot of it is actually really beneficial, really interesting, really fun for the campus, and it's good for students on campus to get to know the international students and the study abroad students. You know, that's really how you develop relationships, and how things kind of, you know, you're able to go to a different country and say, oh, well, actually I know someone. You know, I went to college with someone that lives there, and you can stop by and say, hey. And I mean, it's just great building that community on campus, and an international community for yourself.
Right.
So those two stories are going to be probably some of our top stories.
Right. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So what does it take in a typical week of the Colonnade to produce a paper?
Oh my goodness. It is just a constant dialogue between me, I'm the assistant news editor, Nick Widener, who's our news editor, and then Lindsay Shoemaker, who is our editor-in-chief. I feel like I'm always on the phone with them, 3 4 times a day, just talking, hey, I just found this out, this is just developing, I heard from this source, or, whatever the issue is that goes into running a newspaper, which I promise you is just vast. So, we're always talking, we're always trying to figure out different things, and, hearing from people, talking to people on campus, and most people know that I am the assistant news editor, so people will talk to me, or they'll tell me what they thought of a story or something like that. But it is a lot of work. We have production nights on Wednesdays, and we're usually in the office. I usually try and make it a point to be in the office by 6:30, and there's been 2 weeks where we haven't been able to get out until 4, which is fine, and it's fun. It's fun to be in there and be working hard. But those nights, my 9:30 class comes really quickly. But I mean, it's just a lot of work. It's a lot of kind of interconnection that we work together on.
So would you consider it like an everyday job almost?
Close. It's definitely something that I have to. I do work on every single day. But I don't get paid. I just do it because I love it, and I love print. I love news, and I love figuring out what's going on in my campus.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Mark, thank you so much for joining us.
It's my pleasure.
When we return on GC 360, more headlines plus sports and entertainment. We'll be right back.